So we are going to head over to Doncaster Retro Gaming Market.
The most recent Doncaster gaming market last weekend, as I record this, was really good. Doncaster is the largest retro gaming market in the UK and is hosted by Replay Events, which own pretty much all of the markets that you and I go to throughout the year. Now, later in this episode, you'll see some archive footage from markets that I started going to in 2015. And I've got a lot to say about how these markets have completely shifted in terms of the culture and the overall vibe. But overall, I'm happy with this market. I got some great stuff and I met some wonderful people, but there was this one ongoing theme that people mentioned to me without me even raising it, and that is the notion of Etsy sellers versus actual video game stalls. So I want to talk about that more in today's episode.
That's right, we deliberately saved some footage for you guys to just take a look and for me to thread some impressions and thoughts together after going to these markets for 10 years. I knew this market when Retro Collect had it. That's how it started. I think Retro Collect have since stopped their kind of website. It was a massive website with the forums and reviews. I actually had a couple of my reviews on there, wrote for them, and then it was purchased from Replay Events, which have been incredible over the years. So before we dive into some thoughts, let's just take a peek. A lot of you guys obviously went, and a lot of you guys have your own opinions on the evolution of these markets and what that means for the UK retro gaming community. So Jem and Donnie, take it away.
Let's rock!
So footage that I didn't show in my initial video were just some of the really awesome stuff that we saw and the creativity of people. It was incredible to see. But as we were kind of walking around, there were just, again, loads of Etsy sellers and the balance seemed really off, and I've noticed that a lot over the years. I think the heat didn't help as well, so this particular shop wasn't overly busy. So I think the first aisle as you walked in, it was the far aisle on the right, was considerably heavy on plushies and Pokemon cards. I think that's great for some people, but I much prefer the retro games. Obviously here you can see one of the stalls with some heavy hitters on. Now I know a lot of people had issues with prices, but I always think it's cool. You can always got that bargain chip to haggle a little bit, or just don't buy. It was a great market again, some really nice bargain stuff that we've got here, but I was quite shocked to see sweets and crisps and things. Let me know what you think about seeing these things, but for me personally, it's just not for me. Now let's rewind to 2015 with some very shaky footage and low production value. So I've been going to these markets for years and years and years. The Play Expo used to be in Manchester as well as Blackpool. And I think there is definitely a lack of expos within the United Kingdom compared to America. Obviously, America is huge in comparison, but I would like to see some expos. But to be honest, I only went to the expos so I could go to the markets anyway. There was a time back in the day when there was just one market a year. So going to something like the Play Expo gave me an opportunity, you can see here, where you could actually buy some retro games. So that was really nice. And back in these kinds of days, so your 2015, 2016, we barely saw anything other than retro games, which was great. Now, fast forwarding into 2016, you can see that the creativity continues to flow with custom consoles. Check this out as well. Customized bar tops arcades there. I actually picked one of those up, but you can still see from this archive footage, very minimal on the plushie stuff, loads of games. So if this was a ratio back then, I would probably say it was 85% games and potentially around, 15% plushies and trading cards, etc, etc. There's definitely a market for that at these markets. But again, I have my reservations about what it's actually becoming. So what would I like to see? Now, back in the day, I think it was maybe at this market, Retro Collect, this is Doncaster Dome, there was an amazing piece that I missed out on, and I'm not going to mention what it is. Well, I actually will, because it's in one of the thumbnails. It was an M80C with the Star Fox competition cartridge in it. And back then it was it was on my radar, but wasn't on my radar as much as it is now. I'll park that thought for there, because when we go back to the Lady Lounge, I'll talk a little bit more about that, and it will thread together what I would like to see at these markets. The bar top arcades, I'd love to see more of these as well. Getting somebody in that does customs, I don't know if there's anybody out there that could facilitate that. Again, I did actually end up buying one of them myself, which was really cool. And again, just fast forwarding here, so I think this is 2018, maybe in 2017, 2018, way before I had my brace on. Teeth are much more buckled, but again, back at the Dome, which seemed to be the primary location for the markets. This was the once of year stuff when I started going. You can see more and more kind of plushies coming in, the figures and stuff, but again, the ratio of games and consoles versus the Etsy type stuff was definitely in favour of the games, which was really, really nice to see. Look at all this beautiful stuff, guys. I've seen some wonderful things at these markets over the years. Oh crikey, I've seen Panasonic cues, I've seen, I don't know what I'm doing there, I've seen loads of really, really awesome stuff, and if it wasn't for these markets, I wouldn't have the ability to build a collection as much as I have done. And then obviously bolted onto this, I've always done pickups as well, and that's always been a part of the channel, just to be able to see what I picked up here. I think that was something from the Leeds gaming market. Oh, it's actually in the title there, Gemma, read the title. And speaking of Leeds, there was a really cool one, Super Retro Games Fair, that started alongside the Doncaster markets way back when. This is how I originally met the likes of Sore Thumbs, a lot of you guys, you might even spot yourselves in this archive footage, but again, it was very top heavy with games. Got Secret of Evermore there. I think I actually ended up picking up my first copy of Secret of Mana. I think this is the old Sore Thumbs one there, that stall. So again, really, really cool to see, and it was back in the day before my production value increased. Again, the footage is shocking when I look back. I actually thought this was premium content back in the day, and maybe it was, but I try to kind of pride myself on a much cleaner, sleeker approach to retro game hunts and hunting at the market. But just look at it. Tons and tons and thousands of games, and I miss this vibe. I genuinely miss it. So I'm putting a bit of a play out in this video as well for anybody that does sell at these fairs. I don't want to spoil the conclusion, so we're just going to kind of continue. I'm mesmerised by this personally. Super Famicom stuff, and again, what I love is the cross-region stuff. NTSC, Super Famicom, you've got it all at these markets, so I definitely think they're still worth going. But you've obviously got the pick of the run, really, with Replay. So let's get back to the Lady Lounge and thread some of my thoughts together on this. I need a few seconds of your time to tell you about channel memberships. If you guys want to become a channel member, click join from the main page or the second link in the description. There are 3 tiers, all with different perks for you if you want to become a team member. Thanks for your time. Let's continue with the video.
Now, let's get one thing straight. This was one of the better markets of late. And just speaking to a lot of you guys there, you seem to think so too. Obviously, spoke to Callum off camera, who's obviously kind of happy with it. Obviously, you've probably seen his video by now, and I know I've seen Callum's video from the Birmingham market, and I think this is general consensus about the amount of what we call Etsy sellers. First of all, I've bought a lot of things over the years. I love my woven rugs. There's stalls there that create some immensely fantastic figurines, signs, all things like this. The skill, the time, the passion, the energy is unbelievable, and I will continue to support those vendors. I just want to make that clear. I've reached out to, I've got them right here, love them. 3D printed gamer merch, Michael and Jen reached out to these guys for a little bit of collaboration work. So I want to make this abundantly clear. I like these sellers and I will continue to support them, okay? What I'm seeing at the markets is a bit of an imbalance between retro gaming stalls and Etsy sellers. It seems to be tipping a bit more towards Etsy sellers, and that's okay for some people, but I would like to see the balance shift back a little bit. Now here's why. I was scrolling my phone the other day and up pops this memory, and I cannot find the picture. I'm going to try my best to find the picture. I think I'm going to just scour my Mac, my hard drives, okay? Found this picture of a market. It's 2015, 2016 or 2017, okay? And it was, where is it? It was a copy of the Starwing competition cartridge inside a Super Nintendo, which was inside a bar top SNES kiosk M80C. Look, that is my I've got a Swedish bar top kiosk upstairs, Super Nintendo. But holy smokes, would I love, I'd like a floor standing one, but I'd take a bar top. And I'm thinking, looking at that picture, right, that is what I love to see at markets, right? I'm like, yo, I mean, you've already seen in this episode, right, the kind of the rare stuff. You may have seen it, but you may have seen it yourself, like the kind of promo cartridge on Vintage Gamer Store, the N64. I think it was International Superstar Soccer. There was the really uber rare, I think it's a Clay Fighter on the N64. Like, that's the stuff, right, that gets the adrenaline. It's like, for me, right, I love the thrill of the hunt, I love the collecting, I love the passion, I love finding one. It literally chokes me up sometimes, like I get so into it and it fucking means everything to me. So for me, I'd very much like to see more retro gaming stalls and less people like selling socks and things like that. I think we need to keep the core, you know, like I've just read at God, get it wrong. M and J, Michael and Jen. You know, keep those, but I don't want to like offend, but just like less of the other stuff, if that makes sense. And again, speaking to you, a lot of you guys said the same thing. And I think as a content creator, you know, gone half them days where you see an M80C, Star Fox competition cartridge or Star Wing. I really hope I can find it. I'm going to do my best during the edit to find that picture for you. Because it came up on my phone and I can't find it on my phone, so it's somewhere in the ether. Now I found some great stuff over the years. Got the Batman Forever Wars edition. I have picked up some really valuable stuff. Turtles in Time, that was the Leeds market, that was incredible. You know, PAL English, to find something like that in that condition. I mean, flipping heck. Now, there's a lot of sellers, right, that I've spoke to. Particular sellers weren't at Doncaster Gaming Market. So I've had this conversation before, I'm just going to give you the nuts and bolts of it. This is the shop stock. This is our expo stock, right? So and that's great. I think that's fantastic. Some people don't want to empty the shop to go to Doncaster or Birmingham, whatever, London, right? I'm thinking, there's one particular person said to me that is all the shit that they take to the expo. And I'm like, okay, cool. When I say shit, what I mean is common stuff. It's not shit. It's things like Mario World on the SNES. You're going to sell it 10 times on Mario Galaxy. Common stuff. You're thinking CEX now, right? You're thinking CEX. But I'm thinking, I don't want to say, how many copies of Mario World have I got? I want copies of Sonic 2. You know, why don't we bring the juicy bits? Now, there were some stall holders there who were amazing. Alan at Forgotten Worlds, Sore Thumbs, Retro Vault. I could name loads more. Console Passion. Obviously, love them guys. Some immense stuff that have really helped me build my collection. But I just want to see more gaming stuff. And if there's anyone that's got a shop out there, right, and you're watching this, please bring your rare stuff. Right now, let's rewind. There was a BT cartridge which was at the market, so I've seen him a few times. Sam and his dad. Oh God, they're amazing. Sometimes I go and I see these stores and I'm like, ka-ching, Because for me, it's content, right? I'm not going to spend £3 on a BT cartridge, whatever, I forget what it's called. I made an offer, but they declined it, and that's okay. But for content, and for memories, and for hype, that's where I'm at, you know. Like, imagine this, yeah? Imagine you go into a market, and there's mate, in my dream, market, walk in, floor standing M8C. Fucking hell. How much is that, mate? Can you imagine? Like, that would be the dream boat position for me, to go in, to dip onto that, and pray I could strike a deal before anyone else. Where would I put it? Don't know. It'd go in the living room. Jess don't watch my videos, but I'd put it in my living room. She said no, person. But I'd say, listen, Jess, I'll do the dishes for like a month straight if you let me put it in the living room. You know, I just want an M80C so bad. But I'm never going to get it. I'm never going to see it, man. So, and this is the thing. When I went to America last year, I was out there with Rick, Retro Rick, Riff, John Riggs, you know, all the big hitters, man. And the markets have never felt the same for me since going there, because the bar was so high. And going out to Germany, to Europe's largest, most fantastic retro game store, and up to Forgotten Worlds. When you're a content creator, or just a person that goes to these markets, and like you have done every single month after month after month after month for 10 years going to these markets, and then going to America, the bar's up here, and then you come back to the UK and you go and it's like, it's down here. So maybe that's a personal thing. I need to work on my expectations, that I'm never going to find an M80C. This is not America. But let's hope, we'll see how it evolves. I'll obviously be going down and filming, and you know, a lot of people say that they buy tickets just to come and see. They like to see, like me and Callum. You know, that's great, because that's what the community is about at the end of the day. That is what it is about. So that's my 2 cents. I hope you've enjoyed my little rants. We've seen additional footage. It's really nice to see that rare stuff on Vintage Gamer, and long may that live. So I've got loads coming, got loads and loads planned. I'm just trying to kind of balance everything, and I just love the thrill of the hunt, basically. So let me know in the comment section what you got from Doncaster, and let me know this. Here's a question to you if you've stayed this far in the video. Right, I want you to start your comment. Start your comment by telling me, what video was it when you found me? I found you when, or the first video I watched was. Let me know, and if you've come this far in the video, let's virtual fist bump. Let's do this. But thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one.